Bottom line Liberia 24/7.
Welcome to another fresh edition of the program, the Bottom Line Liberia Discussions. Today is 31 March, the 31st of March. Oh, no, May. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I'm taking a year back. Probably I'm in sympathy with the government of Liberia. And so I'm trying to give them more grace period. So I'm taking a year back. But on a serious note, today is the end of May 2024. And today is Friday. So let me say welcome to you, wherever you are watching us. It will be morning on your side, afternoon on your side, evening on your side. Let me say welcome to you and be a part of the Bottom Line Liberia discussions tonight. Tonight we'll be looking at several topics, and of course we'll first of all go through few stories from the major newspapers that make headlines in Liberia today, and then we'll be going into our main discussions. And our main discussions would be, it will be something that does not only concern Liberia but Africa as a whole, and we'll be looking at the leadership shift in Africa, especially West Africa, in recent years. So we'll be looking at that. And so we want to say welcome. This is the Bottom Line Liberia. In split seconds, my colleagues will be joining me. Paul Lord Chilupe will be joining me, and probably Francis Mensah may come, or Guy Tume may come, and together we'll be discussing these issues that I just outlined. But in the meantime, we want to ask you, wherever you are watching this program, you should help us to share it, because without you, we will not be here, and without us, you will not also be here. So wherever you're watching the show from, share it, and we may be recognizing some of our people that will be joining us for the first time. If you join us from Liberia via Jala TV, we ask that you share the show and welcome your friends to be a part of it. My name is Linford Goa, and I'm in Norway. Paul the Lord is in the UK. He'll be joining me pretty soon. And Jamal Kamara is also in the UK. They both will be joining me pretty soon. And if possible, Francis Mensah is in Sweden. He may be joining. You see, like brother say, hey, we move from Amor. Paul, come. So, welcome, Paul.
Oh, welcome, Linford. Happy to be back here. It's good to be here. How are you? And I will say hi to our listening audience as well. How are you
Yes,
doing?
I am great, and all is well. It's been rainy here. A couple of days ago, it was raining, but today we went back to summer again. In fact, this morning was so dewy and cold. But then around 10 to 11 o'clock, man, we went back to summer. So this is how crazy it is.
It is. I mean, the thing is, the weather here is terrible. This morning was freezing cold. At some point, it got warm. People had to wear t-shirt. Then later on, the rain started again. People had to put on that jumper. As you can see, I'm supposed to be in t-shirt. Now I have to have jumper on because the house is cold. So I don't know what the hell happening to this weather. That's why I want to move to Liberia. We have the best weather over there. And
You want to
here,
move to Liberia with this kind of political condition we get, my man, the people nothing
I
straight.
mean, the people are all right. I mean, people are surviving. There over 6 million people in Liberia surviving. So why not join the group too and survive? So the people are okay. Things are
God made nobody to survive. God may also live. Living
look,
meaning
look,
everything is okay. Everything cannot be 100% though, but at least you have time to do other things. You
look.
satisfy. You're not looking over your shoulders and whatever. So God did not actually make us to survive. God made us to live, and so yeah. But
Look,
this is where we find ourselves.
then for what happened is when our society is so good that they make decisions that tell everybody things are okay. So I accept the fact that decisions were made not long ago, the past 8 months, and the people are happy with what it is. So who am I to say things are bad over there? Things are okay. 6 million people surviving over there. They see it okay. Only you and me in the West seeing that people are, the person know they're okay. So let's accept it by the face value that things are okay. So for me, I want to join that special part that they enjoy in Liberia. So it's okay. You see, that is the beauty.
I know exactly where you're coming from, Paul. And you know, when you're fighting for a group of people, you know, that do not know that they're in trouble, and you they're fighting for them. So you know, like the saying goes in Liberia, you can't cry more than the bereaved. You know, so we will, yeah, at some point we'll join them to go through whatever we all going through, and that's our country. We can't abandon it, and we have to hang in there. But guys, we'll be back pretty soon with details of what we'll be discussing tonight. Like I said, we'll be going into a few stories from the front page Africa and maybe the Daily Observer. And we'll be giving our own analysis of those stories. You may have heard them, read them, but we will be just giving our own version of it. And so, and after that, we'll be looking at the leadership shift in Africa, the new dynamics in leadership in West Africa, especially. And so, stay tuned for us, and we'll be back.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop sleeping. Wave your hands, wave your hands, wave your hands, wave your. Come on, come on, come on. I know you're sleeping now. You gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they will not go. I said we tired with their lies. We tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw, it frustrates us. So why did you lie? Why did you steal? Why did you allow the citizens to beat? You see, we just tell you that's why we voted you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us a little and abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt. I said no one to trust. My people no one to hope on. Nobody. My hope that I have been broken. I'm telling you, brother. So where are the schools? Where are the roads? Where are the jobs that they say they could afford? But they're too selfish. The people tired with their rhetoric. People tired, they tired. You see the reason why we ask why the government betray. They have enough of time, but yeah, then instead they delay. People suffer. No work for people crying for hunger. Look at. Your vision and your mission, your intention to the nation, they poor. You got nothing to show. Nothing. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask. They lie. The people fool us. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They betray us so much. I said they lie. The people fool us, oh. The people lie to us. The government betray us. They can lie, they can steal, they go knock the corrupt. promises that left us to all our damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now unique they deceive us. The thing we saw it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow there's tendencies to be? You see, we just tell you that why we both tell you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask.
The government betray us, the people fool us, they lie to us. This is one of the hottest songs ever in Liberia. Linford, Takunje made us music during the early regime. It was Unity Party. And the song still follow the Unity Party today. So it's a beautiful song.
Yeah, but like I always say, this song, I think, and it's just that I don't know whether since Liberia would say almost say with Christian nation, the one made most of the thing about can follow us and expose our weakness. Because they say the prophet is not respected in his own home. I bet you it is someone from Nigeria or from Guinea or somewhere Liberia will be dancing to it and loving it and cherishing it. And when the boy made the music, it was that he was looking far ahead, or even in the past. Because this song applies to all of the governments that I have known in my 3 schools of existence. That these people, they will never change. They make all the swim up. You put it there, they become what? In fact, when they're sitting down is where, when they're not in government, that's when they're wearing the binocular. They can see all of the little germs, the little diseases in government, all the little bad things. But the moment they get there and looking at something can cover that lens that they were using to see all the evils in government, and in fact, they multiply what they were talking against. That's why it becomes like something that, like I would say, we get used to it. Because nobody coming to make any change. They come, they say, I'll do this, I'll do that, but when they can't, they do the opposite. Oh, John Brown is not doing well, he's doing this. When we get there, we'll fix it. When they can't, they even spoil it more. So I think Takunje should be respected for this song, especially peace-loving Liberians. All patriotic Liberians should give Takunje credit. But like I said again, the prophet is not respected in his own home. And that's why Takunje is not even on the radar today. People don't even hear about him. I've sent a couple of messages to friends in Liberia, try to see if we can find Takunje, even his number, and send it to me. Because we really want to feature him on this program. And again, talking about Takunje, another musician, or not musician, he's a musician and he's also an artist or actor or whatever. This guy they call what's his name? He made a song with this boy called Lucky Botte. Okay, behold, and the guy that was bluffing in the movie there. I saw the guy the other day. I saw one video clip for him, and the guy is working as a security at Freeport, and the guy looks. I don't want to talk down, but he looks better. This is a famous guy. This is a guy that walks in the street and everybody is calling his name. I wanted to see him like that. And I was like, is it destiny or what? What's going on? So, I don't know. But again, this is Davide Liberia. Let me not limit it to Liberia. I remember when Prince Nico came to Liberia in 1977, we had a group of Nigerian guys who live in the same group of apartments. And when ministers, at the time they had the information ministry right on the bypass, right on near Temple of Justice. So when he was at information ministry, ministers were going, the people were rushing, and then Nigerian people were condemning the guy. They said, when about this guy, when when this guy's in Nigeria, a fella is performing, nobody knows about Prince Nico. That guy is a street performer. So, and when he came to Nigeria, we glorify him. And if you notice, when Prince Nico, when they left Liberia, the whole group broke down almost because Smila left him and he went in front of Smila and the SB, and the other guys went in front of their own band because the guys saw when he came, how they respected him, how they respected them here in Liberia. So, but in Nigeria, they were just street performers, nobody standing in the street corner and sing. Nobody got time for them when fella or when the other guy and the other great Sonny Okosu, when they singing, who get time for Prince Nico? So they sing way. But I think on the Irish, I think Takunji sang this song and it applies to all of the governments in Liberia.
Great. Now welcome Jamal.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. Thanks for having me back on the borderline.
Great, you're welcome. So, Paul, like I said, tonight we'll be looking at the new paradigm shift in Africa, in West Africa. And how will be something that we look at. Not talking too much about Liberian politics. I mean, we involve Liberian politics into that, but that will be our main. We'll be looking at the greater picture of West Africa, saying we are from West Africa. And then we'll also look at a few stories, like I said, and we'll tie them into other things. So, Paul or Chima, welcome. And Paul, what you got for us from the newspaper side?
From the newspaper side, I read a front page Africa this afternoon, and something caught my attention. I told you that there would not be war and economic crime could settle in Liberia. So Front Page Africa has reported that the Lutheran Church massacre in the 90s, the victims are taking the government of Liberia to the ECOWAS court. But the paper said that this is the third time that case has been postponed, requested by the Liberian government. Let me put this out. So this is the case that is pending. So ECOWAS court postponed historical hearing of the Lutheran Church massacre. The case after Liberian government asked for more time to prepare. Now this story since 2022, the case has been in the ECOWAS court. Every time they want to start, the Liberian government will ask for postponement of this case. So they have asked again for no postponement before for them to get prepared. So since that war that people have been talking about, they want justice. And this same government promised us that will be war and economic crime court established in Liberia. So we know that they already did an executive order to establish the office. So why are they running away from this other case in Abuja? That is my question. Because if you keep postponing something like this, so the main office that they're going to establish, that they all agree to establish an office in Liberia to investigate all of this, these people have their living witness. They have their lawyers prepared. They have taken the Liberian government to court. So it's a time that Liberian government take onto this case and defend themselves that yes, we're in a process of establishing another office. So let the case continue. So I don't know what you guys think. Why are they postponing these people case year in, year out? Are they waiting for everybody to die before they go to this trial? That is my take on the story. And it's a very interesting read. It's on Front Page Africa.
Maybe Jamal will come in, then I can come in later.
Yeah, go on. I'll come in later. Please go on.
Okay, so Paul, I don't know, but because you mentioned something that you said that you've been saying here, and you said that there will be no war and economic crimes court established in Liberia. So how does that tie to this story?
Now the thing is, all right, this case went to ECOWAS court in 2022. And we were promised that there will be a war crime court established in Liberia. And we saw video evidence that Allen Hoy Van Schack, the woman who on human right, they all went to Liberia excited of this thing going to happen. Now, the case that been in the ECOWAS court, isn't that where you have the willpower to listen to these people, their case, and then that will encourage you more to do your one in Liberia? But running away from this is send a signal that I don't think the government is prepared to establish this court in Liberia. That's my link to it. I might be wrong, but that's how I see it.
Okay.
You want to say something, like, Joe?
Huh?
Go on. You want to say something now? Come in.
Yeah. Okay. I will have a different look at it, Paul. And when you say this government is running away from it, I will look at it from a different perspective. The perspective from which I will look at is that this government is the government that promised to establish War and Economic Crime School. And in fact, the legislature, the first branch of government, has signed and approved that document. It's been left for the president to follow the formal protocol. And I don't know what it involves. So people say he has to send it to the UN, and but I don't know the process. So, but whichever protocol it needs to go through, I think is the president now. Everybody is waiting for, and that can happen anytime. You already given the executive order, and the legislatures have, signed that document. But the perspective that I want to look at it from is that it could be that since this government is, about to establish War and Economic Crime School, and this case is definitely going to form part of the War and Economic Crime School, because people who committed the crimes, the heinous crimes at the Lutheran Church, may just be called to the War and Economic Crime School. So since this government is in the process of doing that, maybe the postponement this time around could be like, okay, we don't want to double cross ourselves. So since we are about to establish War and Economic Crime School, let this case rest here until all of them can just fall under the War and Economic Crime School. That's the point I'm looking at it from, So I don't know how you look at it.
But from the story, they said the government, to give the government time to prepare for this case. They've been preparing since 2022.
Yeah. I mean, the preparation, that's part of it. For me, that's part of the preparatory stage, where the government could say, well, no.
So if you're preparing it for
double dipping, you got
this has been a third time they have asked this court to postpone it because they're still preparing.
Yeah, but again, you got to look at which government was in power. 2022, it was the Weah administration.
Government is continuity.
I agree.
Yeah.
Government is continuity. So since government is continuity, so this government is saying, no, listen, our predecessors did not do anything much, but since we have the case now, you give it to us. We are about to establish the War and Economic Crime School. Maybe we can combine everything. I mean, I'm not speaking for them. I'm thinking that way, because it will be like you got one case about war crimes in the ECOWAS code. Then you at home you got another War and Economic Crime School. So it will be
no. Link for what happened if the ECOWAS code, when they sue the country, that country have to go for that hearing. It's almost like the Kamina Jana case that when he falsely impeached him, he took it to the ECOWAS code. The government were able to go there to defend the case. So this one here, it have absolutely nothing with the establishment of the court in Liberia. The government have been sued, but this is the third time we get one of the best lawyers in the world, and it taking them how many years to keep postponing, to prepare. So what are they running away from? There is the question. So when Kamina Jana sued them, it took them no time. They were in court to defend their decision that they took. So I'm saying maybe they're running away from something that could haunt them when that office in Liberia have been established. I only trying to link it, but I don't think that office will be established because that will take another maybe 10 years, although it's executive order until that office established. But they need to go and face these people that sue the Liberian government in its Air Force code. Every time they keep asking, so next year again they will postpone because they're still preparing. I don't understand that. Maybe Jamal may have a different view, but I think these people, they go into Nigeria every time, they pay money, transportation, hotel. The government of Liberia is wasting the people time. They will not face the justice. They will not get justice that they took Liberia to court for. They will not get it the way things are going. Jamal, not thought.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Thanks for having me. For me, I don't know where Paul is linking this to the Economic Crime Code. It's a two different things. What Paul should also understand, if you did read the newspaper, the story of the newspaper, it says like this is a case, the full merger, the case is against the government of Liberia. The government of Liberia has to be prepared to defend itself in ECOWAS Code Abuja. Now, if you did read the story says the newly Solicitor General Augustine Fire said they just inherited this case 2 days ago. That's a new government. That's the Solicitor General saying for the newspaper story that you are quoting, Paul. So I'm not Paul. I'm not defending the government here. They are saying to you, in any case, in anything in court, it's like you need evidence to defend a case. And you need evidence to prove or to defend yourself. So the government of Liberia, under the President Joseph N. Boakai, with a new Solicitor General, trying to prepare themselves for the next case. This is not saying they are not asking to dismiss the case. They are asking to postpone. So if you read the story, they postpone to prepare themselves, more time to prepare for the case. So as long as it's in court, the government has the right to ask for postponement to prepare themselves. So if you did read the story again, the Solicitor General is Augustine Fire is asking, Paul, come
This is the point I made to name for. Government is continuity.
No, it's not continuity, Paul. It's not like that.
It sounds simple. That in the Ministry of Justice, so you can't tell me, say, oh, well,
it sounds simple to you. The story, I think you just skipping over the story. It's just saying the story. The story
government, that's government. So you can't say.
But government doesn't but Paul, it doesn't work like that. Continuity just sounds simple, but it's not so simplified. It's like they need to prepare. This is a case against the government. They need to prepare themselves for a case against them. They said to you 2 days ago, the judge received this case, inherited the case from the previous government. So they need to prepare themselves under the lawyers, under the solicitor. You have to prepare lawyers to go to Abuja to defend the case. So 2 days just inherited. That's the story. So if you skip that part of the story, and you keep saying you're linking that to the WECC, I don't see the link.
No. I'm not linking it.
You say you don't see any chance of this code being established.
Because what will happen?
But Jima, let me just ask Martin to what Jima is saying. Paul, you got to understand that the president that was in office in 2022 is not the same president, and they are not the same officials. Okay, so you got to know that this government.
I will hold both for you over there. We have 7, not because you came to office, you appoint one justice minister. There are 7 that have been in our justice ministry for donkey years. Their case have been on the table. So you can't tell me because this one.
Yeah, but the 7 you will not be responsible to.
That is complete. No, just stop it.
Show us the link. Linford, I want Paul to show me the link between the ECC and that of the case in Abuja.
No. Don't forget about the
No, but you just connected the link. You said the link. You were trying to link.
Listen,
What's the link?
The case that the government is running away from, you say government is not continuity when it comes to this. But then in the Ministry of Justice, there are 7 that have been there for donkey years. Their case won a consent 2022. So the file is there, 7 deal with it. Now because you appoint me today as a justice minister, that means I have to review the case and get prepared. They've been preparing since 2022.
Paul,
you're
not doing justice to this story, Paul. You're trying to look at it. No.
That's what the story says.
No, you're not. You're not.
Been postponed.
No, Paul, you're not doing justice to this story. You're taking from this. I think you skimmed this story. You're not looking into it from our perspective. No, listen, Paul. What you're doing right here to this story, you're looking from. I think if you have different way to look at it, I don't think you're treating the government, the Ministry of Justice, under the solicitor, right to this story because they are telling you we just inherited this case. The story, I'm still want to quote the story newspaper. The front page newspaper, front page Africa is saying the Solicitor General Augustine Fire just said you just inherited this case 2 days ago, and now you say the guys. You know what happened in Africa when the ministry got wept? Most of those people they think that were there, they were sacked or relieved of their posts. So who do they count on? I need time. It's a case. It's a law. I'm not a student of law. Neither you. Neither one on this platform. But what they do in terms of defending the government, defending themselves, they need time. They need time. So we need to understand that they are not saying dismiss the case. They're asking them give her time to prepare. It just says on the front page, government asks for more time to prepare it. They are not asking you to dismiss the case. I don't think you're doing justice to this.
No, I didn't say they dismiss the case. That's what
I'm asking for dismissal.
You validating the point I'm making. You say when it comes to get rid of everybody, which I think is not true. They have civil servants that been in that ministry.
Can you name a few of them that were handling?
Let me ask you for.
Yeah.
What if you were employed as new manager for a company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the old manager has some files on a table, some cases, and you, the new manager, just came, and then the case pops up. You think you will get joined into the case? You say, no, I just came. I need to go through the file. I need to know the nature of the case. That's exactly what they're doing. Serena Sifa was Justice Minister. He was Solicitor General of Liberia during Weah time. Musa Din was Justice Minister during Weah time. They are no more there. They received the case. They probably went through it, okay, and they had their own reason for saying. In fact, when they first postponed it, probably it was because the case had just come, and indeed they would need time. Just we're talking about legal team because one word, one sentence, one paragraph can make an entire case turn against you. That's why even if you are under arrest, they will tell you keep silent until you can defend yourself in court. Because if you start talking blah blah blah, you'll say something that will make the whole case turn against you.
Now, Linford, in addition to that, I want to read a paragraph in the newspaper that Paul is trying to skip. Mm-hmm. It says, they're quoting this quote. There's a we. This is the statement from Fire Johnson. He said, we inherited the case just about 2 days ago, said Councillor Fire, right? And he said, we inherited the case 2 days ago, said Councillor Fire, flanked by Councillor J. Adolphus D. Kano and Joe T. Tiowe, the other new government lawyers on the case. And so we thought that we make submission to read the case file, familiarize ourselves with the facts and then the circumstances of taking the case so that we can be prepared to appear before your honors.
Oh,
that's
let me hold on. Now, this is where I'm going to catch the two. You see, we have something in Liberia when you take over, there's a transitional period. So you're telling me this government, when the other people were handing over to them, nothing as such on the magnitude that was in the transitional document for them to read for these guys to come to you.
I just told you 2 days ago the inheritance. You can deny that. You can't deny that.
Listen, you said the inheritance, so it means what during the transitional period.
2 days ago. 2 days ago. 2 days
but
ago.
You're not giving me justice. When people are doing transition, that was 2 months. The case of that magnitude would not be in that transitional document. That
they'll tell you the case is here. No, they'll tell you the case is here.
Look, that's what I'm telling you.
Okay, but let me just satisfy your anxiety. Let me just satisfy your question, right? You taking over from me as producer or bottom line Liberia. All you're going, new person coming, we say, my man, here's the platform. Okay, this is what we do. This is what we do. So you think the man will get open everything and learn it? Then somebody new can. You say, okay, let me see. When the case pops up, then now they can go to it. Now that they probably told them about the case, but the case was resting.
They probably told them about the case.
Probably.
You see?
I said probably.
But this is what I'm saying. Government is continuity. Something at that magnitude. You cannot say, oh, so that means this group that took over.
So automatically, what are you saying?
And this is the procedure in any
automatically, they put the not denied. They said they just received the document yesterday.
The case document. they received the document from the court. But during
Now
a
the case is-
transitional,
you see it?
listen now, that's what I'm saying. So when George Weah government was handing over to them, that 2 months, they had a justice team taking over from another justice team. So it means that they were not told, because in Liberia we follow deception and we don't say things true. So that's what I said government is continuity, and you say no. In Africa, there was transitional period, and that transition period, I can bet my head online, they were told, but they just refused to
Yeah,
act.
and so where was the case? The case was not in Liberia. The case is in
The-
ECOWAS School.
They can't see. So tell me now.
So
if our
even if they were told,
listen,
if they were
so
told,
if that was
what was the
Kamina
solution?
Janet, listen now, if it was Kamina Janet case that went to, and these people are taking over, and the ECOWAS have written them, they'll say, oh, it just today we got the information.
Yeah, but
So
when
during
the
that
ECOWAS right
transition-
there,
but during
people
that
are saying that
transition,
ECOWAS just were
where
there 2
were they
days ago.
planning? My brother, you're not getting the point I made. I was telling you there was a transitional period in Liberia for 2 months.
Oh, I agree. You see,
Yeah, so
the thing you do is, Paul, when you hold on to one little thing, you not want to see.
but
even
you
if
don't want to
contract will-
accept it. It's the fact.
Yeah, but
I
we
cannot take
are
the office.
No,
And
I
then
am
you say,
telling
oh,
you.
this is the document you gave
But we
me.
are telling
I
you.
will read it. Listen
Okay,
now.
hold on. I've given you several examples.
Let me learn. Let me learn. I gave you an office. I gave you Butterland document. Say this is what we have here, and we go with. It's your responsibility to read what in that Butterland document. Not because ECOWAS have send you letter. Even I one day they say, oh, eject it, but it's in that file. That's why I said, what happened during the transitional time? When I use the words,
Okay.
the government is continuing
Can I come in?
like that. So
Can
I
I
don't
come
know
in?
what kind of government I don't continue.
Can I come in? Can I come in? Okay. The case is not in Liberia. The case was not active during the transitional period. There are a few things you got to look at. The case was not active. The file was there. So they took all the files. I'm just trying to play the devil's advocate for the Weah government and the government. The Weah government, let's assume that they took all the files. Say we got case A, B, C, D to say, here are all the files. Bam, they receive the file. So the file is there and the case is inactive. So what you expect them to do? They should just start going through it.
So if we owe World Bank trillions of dollars,
Mhm.
and we did a transitional period, the minister will not find out, not know that you owe World Bank.
Okay, let me ask one
Listen,
question.
let me finish, because you get finished. They will not know until the World Bank say, oh, we just sent letter to remind, and they say, oh, sorry, we just received this. What they did that? ECOWAS.
Okay, but wait.
Sued.
Don't be the judge and the jury at the same time. Do not be the judge and the jury. Let me ask one question. If you are finance minister, Liberia owe almost all the countries in the world will owe them money. And then you get to all the finance ministry. Then the former finance minister owe to you all the documents that will owe all the countries. So you just go pay all of them one day. If they ask them for that money,
No.
No. Because what you're trying to say is that when the club you see, when the tell what they say to go read all the cases.
I will repeat myself. The case in ECOWAS court.
Guys, can we continue? Can we transition, man? I don't think I
let
have
me
time for
finish.
this.
Don't just transition because
No,
you're
this
saying
Paul does not want to just argue something. It doesn't for me. It doesn't hold for me right now. This is very clear in the newspaper. Paul is arguing something I don't understand.
No, it's
Can
not
we
very
transition,
clear.
guys?
You received document 2 days ago, but there was a transition period that the country Liberia had been sued.
Now I ask you the question here.
Not gonna case
That's why I
and
asked
say,
the
oh,
question. So our new finance minister will go pay all the money with all the world there, right? Because you received a document.
that being challenged. Listen to
No,
what I'm
not
saying.
challenged.
No, it being very challenged. This is what I'm saying.
What you're trying to say is that
Listen now, if
even
you
they
owe
tell all the
somebody
people
money,
that they should go,
give me chance
to
now,
read
you
all the
talk.
story, but no.
If you owe somebody trillions of dollars and you come to office and you have not told the person that taking over that will owe this person trillions of dollars, after a while,
what did they tell them?
so then why did he tell them about the case that Liberia been sued?
Okay, so if they tell them that Liberia have been sued, that's why I'm telling you. There are several cases, but when the case is inactive, what you doing? The case was inactive during the transitional period.
Listen, the case was already been there. these people were sued. That
It
one
was
the
there,
government
but
are going to
inactive. It was there, but inactive.
let's transition because you're saying in Liberia government is not continuity, and this is
No,
why
we didn't say that.
Oh, that what you and Jamal just said here.
No. I not said that. Government is continuity,
Uh-huh.
meaning that wherever the previous government stopped, the new government can take from there. Okay.
Let's transition because I know in
Yeah,
Liberia
but
government is not
I ask you a
continuity.
question. Like all the country in the world. So some get new foreign minister. I mean minister now.
So how will you owe somebody and then you don't tell your other colleagues that will owe this person?
How do you know that they didn't tell them?
But that's what the people say. They get into their knowledge 2 days ago.
No.
They take in the newspaper.
No, they just you see, misunderstand. They just received the document from the case, the reactivation of the case from ECOWAS Court yesterday. That's what they're saying. They're not saying that they didn't receive the fact.
Let's get transition. I say
let's transition.
They should have been prepared.
Okay, so
to be for that kind of la story.
No, that you want.
No, but it's true. That la story they can't get say, oh, it just gives you another. Then what? The whole thing is just Yamomo. Let's move on.
Okay, so what next we got for there?
Well, the thing is, I was not talking about government. We've seen that there have been new group of young leaders in Africa with different mindset. And now our old thing in Liberia that when you come to power, somebody gave you information you don't read, it becomes the same old thing. Now, we found out lately in West Africa, there's a young man in Burkina Faso, Tuareg, and another one in Senegal have been making a lot of headway. They have been doing wonders. And what happened in Burkina Faso, the 1st of July is supposed to be a transitional period that the military could take over. But young people took onto the street, begging this military government to stay and put Burkina Faso on the right path. That have not been heard of in Africa. In my lifetime, most time military government, they are a government or dictatorship that no one want to even associate. But in the case of Burkina Faso, there's something this young man is doing that have called the attention of a lot of young people that today they celebrating him and asking him to stay in office for the next 20 years to put Burkina Faso on the right path.
And
Guys,
do you think that is right?
Well, when the nation see good, they all go behind. I think that is right. I think it's something good for Burkina Faso.
Okay,
And
because the reason I asked you whether you think that is right, I think all of us here, or at least we were not wearing tapas, or 1980. We were big boys. 1980, at least we can remember. 1980, including me sitting down here, 1980, from April all the way to July, we were in the streets of Montreal, Nete Uma Bon Soyo K Congo man, we were all up and down, thinking that was our redeemer. And this redeemer later on turned around to become the enslavers.
Thank you.
Now, so, when it comes to the shift in leadership, especially for Africa, no matter who, no matter when, no matter where, I always have my little reservation. And the reason why I have these small reservations, always somewhere at the back of my mind, is that I look at past history of people who came in the name of redemption.
Yeah.
Now, right in our backyard, the People's Redemption Council, PRC, they came in 1980. And who was the leader? A 27-year-old young man, okay, who was just a few years older than some of us. And everybody thought that this guy would have a different mindset. And everybody celebrated him. During the early days of the coup, just making 1980 to 1981, if you ask anybody you want Doe to move from here, you will say no, let Doe be there. And what happened? We saw a drastic change in the behavior of this saint that we saw that came to redeem us. Not only that, let's go to some other smaller countries or neighboring countries around us. What happened in Sierra Leone? The same thing. You had the Strasser who died as a poor man somewhere in the village. Then you had other people, Joseph Kabila, who killed his own father, he later on became dictator. So, you know, we've had these things happening everywhere in Africa. But my concern is that in West Africa, you know, if you go back to the 60s, after almost all of the countries in Africa gathered independence,
Mhm.
you will find out that the change, the form of government or the change of government at that time was mostly military coups. And this, I've read several documents or documentaries, and some of them will say that it was engineered by colonial powers because they wanted to they wanted to install people who they can control. And so they will always get rid of the good leader, the Kwame Nkrumah, the Haile Selassie, Haile Selassie, Emperor, nobody Otu. But there were several people that were Jean Bokassa, all the people came in as military leaders. They overthrew their government. You see, and so military coup was the change of government at that time.
Mhm.
And people are saying that those people who came through the power of the guns were people who were installed or people who were supported by their colonial masters because they want to control them. Then we say, okay, we don't want military coups in Africa anymore. Then people started going to democracy. And then democracy took root somehow. People started going to elections, but yet we are coming back to the same trend, especially in West Africa. How many coups took place in West Africa in less than 3 years? At least 3, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea,
Niger.
and Niger. Okay? So, you see, and all of the, my thing here is that the leaders of those coups that just took place in West Africa in recent time, my concern, the good thing about it for me is that they were all young people with different mindset. They are not these people who will be puppeted by the colonial masters from the way they're starting. Okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, from the way they start. Because this is the first time in my lifetime to see an African leader, especially one that came through the power of the gun, to stand up to the colonial master of his country and say, look, listen, the way we do things, you've been doing things, will not be the same way anymore on the man. Because the thing is, look at Liberia, Paul. Because Liberia will say, oh, everything will say, oh, America, the international community, they didn't want to depend on. So you think any Liberian leader got the guts to stay and look at America and tell and say, the way you've been doing things, you're not doing anymore? The first thing you think about, where will my government get support from? What if I say this to the big government that supports me? You think they will support me anymore? We'll fear. We'll all have that fear. Charles Taylor tried. This is a man, they say he brought in the great America. Remember myself right here in the UK, Sweden, and Norway. You can't go to any country without passing through the airport. And if you go through the airport, they would scan your documents. So you can't break jail and go. But the man can run away from jail with 7 Americans. He from where like brother can break jail and manage to come to Africa. That's part of the story, the KOA. Okay? And when he tried to stand up to them, then the story changed. So, you know, like I said, my thing is that the young people are taking over, and the way they're taking over, the ideology that they're bringing, the change, you know, that, no, listen, hell, you colonial master, you've done your part, we got our independence from you, but the game will not be the same way. The rules of the game will have to change. That's what I'm looking at. But I'm not looking at, you know, whether there will be good people for that country. I can't guarantee that. Because anytime, nobody's can become dictators. Because if the citizens begin to ask them to be there for 20 years, can you imagine? 20 years? New breed of leaders will come out and they want to move them. And this is how war can come. Or let Jamar come in or any of you.
Thank
Jamal
you very
smiling.
much. 1 second. Paul, go on. I will come back. Just trying to say something.
All right. So before Jamal chime in, I mean, the thing is, when I watch some of the video from the especially those 3 coup makers from Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, they get something in similar. Imagine, you know, they were using the CS France that controlled by Paris. And these guys now they want to get rid of it to establish their own gold currency to tell that they don't want to deal with the colonial master. So the way they're thinking, the level, the way they're going.
I think you found my train of thought, right? Yeah. The way their ideology, I mean, that's why I brought it back home in our own country. Tell me, who leader will stand to America and say, no, listen, don't try that nonsense. Don't told them you'll pay America's debt. And what happened?
Yeah.
So, that when these boys, I will not call them boys, when these West African leaders are looking straight into the faces of the colonial master and saying, no, listen, even your money, we're not going to use it again. We're going to use our own money. I think they are introducing new leadership style that all African leaders should adopt. But the question is the age gap. Now I'll show you. I think Paul will play a video, but let me display this one right here. Who is he standing there?
Oh, the 40-year-old boy with a 90-year-old man from Nigeria.
You see? So can you imagine the age gap between these two? One can be son or grandson to the other one. And the other one is living in a colonial past. The other one, all he knows, he went to school in America, he got an education from America or from England, and then, he colonial man. Then you got another young boy who is reading articles on the internet every day. He knows what's going on around the world. He knows how other countries are improving. So, you cannot have these two doing the same thing. So if you see the young leaders in West Africa now, like the guys from Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, are saying, no, listen, your currency, we've been using it for years. You've been taking our minerals for years and giving us chicken change. But this trip around, we are going to set the price. We are going to create the rules of the games. We will be the referee. We will tell you how far you can go. Now, then the West gets to know that men are rising up in Africa. So countries in Africa that are still bent on electing their great-great-grandfathers, calling them experienced people, I think we are making mistakes. And Liberia is number one. We should get rid of that.
Let Jamal chime in, because I know Jamal will have a totally different view on this, because he always on the extreme. So come in, Jamal.
Thank you very much. Thanks, guys, for having me. What I want to let you know, guys, right now, the first and foremost, it's unfortunate that our leaders, the elected leaders, are because of bad leadership, they are they guide the military in the politics in Africa, which we shouldn't be expecting. In West Africa, to be specific, Sub-Saharan Africa, go to other part of Africa, you will see there's a fledgling democracy. I mean, it's doing well. And go to West Africa, where you see people are grappling, those young leaders are coming. Well, we welcome them. The re-emergence of military in politics in Africa. At some point, we should welcome them, because those that failed us, but you give room to a leadership, to fair leadership, so they can come back and reshape the narratives and dynamics in the country, not to hold on to power for years. If you like what my brother was just trying to analyze, Langford was looking at, when you give more room to these leaders, at some point, they want to get into total politics and change the dynamics. They have no idea. At the end of the day, it becomes a failed government. We've seen all over West Africa. With the dual government, now it's happening in Guinea. 2-3 years ago, the guy came to power in, I think, September 20 in Guinea. Now he's at the point of his soul. He doesn't know which way to go. Look, when there's a military comes to change things. Well, it's unacceptable in the sense that, because we have to accept it for the fact that the leaders that were there did not do well, and the civilians are tired. They know the way to get rid of the military to step in. Well, thank you for coming in, for correcting the situation, but we want civilian leadership. This is what we want in Africa. While we are all jumping, excited about these young guys coming up, you come to find out after 4-5 years, they have no way out. All these rhetorics, Paul, they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. We want mature experience. We want leadership management. We want leadership, proper leadership in Africa, more especially West Africa. Eastern Africa is going very well. Tanzania, Namibia, Zambia, these countries are going very well. They are doing very well with their leadership. They are all leadership. There's no military coup in those places. They are doing very well. Now, what we need to do, come back, take over the government, come put a system in place that where we can have elections. And the citizens need to stand firm, put their feet on the ground, say we want change. But while we sit in the back there thinking like, well, military can bring solution to us, it's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. Like
Okay,
your brother
but Jamal,
in Sierra Leone.
let me
At the end of the day,
disagree with
you
you.
end up like a pauper.
Yeah, let me
So
disagree with you.
while we're excited and happy, but thank God for them coming to a change situation because we can't change it. But at some point, they need to just take the backseat and go back to the barracks
Let me agree
and give
with
the
you.
civilian the rope to change things.
Let me agree with you and disagree with you at the same time. I
Go
agree
on.
with you on the point that, the guys, the military guys will step in, and then at a certain point they go to the barracks. I support that because, like I said,
Yeah.
Even the Liberal organization here, I was seeing leadership for complete 12 years, plus when it first started, the first 5 years when it first started, so 12 plus 5 are 17 years. So I know exactly what can happen when you stay long somewhere. Okay? Even one job, when you stay there too long, you can know all the in and out, you know how the time you're supposed to cheat on the job, the time you're not supposed to go to work on time, you know all that little tricks. So it's good that they set the stage and move. But again, the part I want to disagree with you is to bring in all experienced people. That the same thing can bring the trouble because the experienced people, they are the corrupt people. Look at Liberia. We say, okay, the new people that are coming, they're not working government for nobody know them. Let's bring back the experienced people. Where are the experienced people carrying us? They carry us back. Every day we hear about corruption, we hear things that are not even supposed to happen under the inexperienced men. But again, it becomes difficult. So should we always change the form of government by military rule to be able to fix it? Or should we keep those old people or the people who been in government for long, who know all the small loopholes, who can steal from us? So what should we do in between here?
So, Linford, it's not the military. Look at a young man in Senegal. He didn't come back gone.
No, I know.
So this young man is in alignment with another young man, a 35-year-old who's going to be 35 in Burkina Faso with same ideology. The one in Burkina Faso came with gun, and the one on the other side, it came through the process. But their ideology is similar, and that's why they see they want to change the narrative of the way our people been governing us for years. They're looking at it that, look, we are so rich. While we are so rich, why are we poor? Like Liberia, for example, a country that is so rich, today nobody or whom cannot have $1 to survive. And these are the messages God are preaching. The guy in Burkina Faso, what he did, Burkina Faso produced tomato that is sent out, right? But then they buy tomato paste. So he commissioned a group of people to establish a commission to do tomato paste right in Burkina Faso. That's job creation. So he linking these things. So for a young man to have that idea at the age of 35 to do what I'm talking about, it's not about coming to chew gun and decide to stay forever. But the young people in Burkina Faso seeing this guy, his vision, that's what getting them excited. Talk to me, Jamal.
Paul, listen, fine, good idea, brilliant idea. Let you go and, leave the military and go form political parties, run and bring the idea to the people. I'm coming to you. Listen,
now
I totally.
there was a
This
transition.
thing you're talking about, it sounds good to us.
Yeah.
You're talking about we want leadership, we want a brilliant idea. They are innovative ideas, they are visionaries. Fine, brilliant idea. But do not encourage the remilitarizations of politics in Africa. It's not working. I mean, for the just short period of time. You are talking about experienced people. I'm talking about experience. You've not been experienced. You have a leadership. Leadership is a total package. Leading the people. What's happening in all part of Africa? Where you are in the West today? Is that military running this place? No. It's just because they failed us. Listen, come in. Because they failed us in Africa, military is stepping in. Well, thank you very much. Some point of time, go back and let's restructure ourselves. put a more competent and trusted leader. They want to say leader, it come with everything. It come with the not being uncorrupt, come with talking to the people, how you get across to the people, bringing development to your people. It's not leader that want to pocket everything. This is not leader we're talking about. Africa lack of leadership. That's why we have more, especially West Africa. That's the issue we have. That's why you saw the re-emergence of military into politics in Africa, in West Africa. Well, they are doing well. I'm not saying they're not doing well, but at some point they need a time to prepare themselves, prepare the stage. Thank you very much. Leave the stage. Let's get back to work. This is not military barrier. This is a government, man. Come on.
I agree with you. They should go back in the barrier, but then this is the most fascinating thing that is happening in Burkina Faso. This guy had a transition period this coming July 1st. They're supposed to turn over power to the people.
Yeah.
What happened? The people got on the street said, no, we want you to stay and correct things before you turn over. It never heard of on our military.
It will be regrettable after 4 years. You see the performance of that young man. Yeah. Because now he just got in there. He's not gone so far. You will see what will happen. Because what happened here, he need to relate with other people outside the world. The problem here is they are being very, very, very radical against other people. What we understand where the French been really robbing them of their resources. That's fine. I mean, you also need to link with other people. What is missing in Africa? West Africans are not trading among themselves. That's another thing where we can able to keep this thing going on very well for ourselves. When we are trading, we are creating jobs, we're creating market for one another. But we're looking up to Russia or China. Now you turn it back to the West, France, and other part of West Europe. They're looking at Russia, they're looking at China. You think what they're going to do? There will be a lot of Chinese coming in, a lot of Russia coming in to get Burkina Faso. You're not even thinking about talking to your African, the West Africa. You got ECOWAS. The trading zone, ECOWAS trading zone, why you need to develop those things. I've not heard them talking those things. What they are doing around, they want to change those Westerners are fine, good idea. But then who you filling in with? It's just like when you tell Zimbabwe to send out the white people that manage the farm, but your own people, you don't have the mechanism to manage the farms. So this is what happening in Burkina Faso right now. They are brilliant ideas, they sound very good, it's rhetoric, it's good, but look at it from the deeper side of it. Remilitarization of West Africa. I mean, brilliant idea coming up, but at some point, you need to give some room for people to step in, good leaders to take over Africa.
What do you think about the young man in Senegal? He didn't come by the ballot, but he.
I didn't talk about say militaries. I just told you military. If you want to tell me, well, that's one, the brilliant one. That's the thing we're talking about. The young people should vote the young qualified leaders in. Now, military will come in because the people cannot overthrow the corrupt leadership. Military has done the job.
Jamal,
yes.
We have a situation. This guy in Nigeria, how to call him Tinubu. We have another situation in Liberia. There are people are not visionary at all. They came to power.
I don't think so. You don't have fight.
The other thing Tinubu did recent time because his government is performing so badly, so he needed attention. He changed their national anthem to the old national anthem. Because this is what they do. There is no vision for these guys.
No connection there, man, please. He said something different to me that will be something. That may have been doing a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm not supporting Tinubu here, but let's be practical here. If you talk about the guys happening in Senegal, that's a brilliant thing. We want young and brilliant visionary to come to Africa. You should not be telling me, oh, thank God for the Burkina Faso guys should stay in power. At the end of the day, you want to go take up a uniform and become president.
Stay in power, so don't misquote me. I said the people.
You said the people are begging him to stay in power, in which you support.
If your nation is backing you, who am I to say no?
Yeah,
I also, like I said previously, I will not subscribe to that idea.
Thank you,
because let me tell you, in the next 4 years, or every 2 years, there are new things happening. There are people developing.
Yeah.
Somebody who was not active in politics 2 years ago might become active. And so new ideas will come out. The West here. Why are you in the West? Whether you go, you not go, if you the time that you're supposed to serve, when it comes, the high election. Yes. If you go, you win again. If you're not good, they move. But if you look at it, they're telling, oh, be there.
No. He's not going to be there forever. The point here is what I'm saying.
But they say he should be there for 20 years.
It never heard of all of military.
Yo, but Paul, don't be glorifying these things. It's not good, man. It's not good.
So the people in Burkina Faso,
they are making mistakes.
It's a serious mistake. It's not good. It's not good. Don't be glorifying those things. It's not good.
I just gave you a few examples. Samuel Doe, Joseph Kabila, or who else? Valentin Strasser. He didn't stay there long. They have to move him. Even
All
what
right,
they call
Jerry Rowland. Jerry Rowland. Keep
yeah,
giving the name.
But
And
Jerry
let's see
Rowland
the
came
difference
back.
between
Jerry
them.
Rowland came back. Jerry Rowland came back after the overthrow. He came back. He went into election. He did not
you
go.
see.
He went to election.
So the moment
Before Jerry
you
Rowland
get
went
it,
into election, what did Jerry Rowland do? He didn't just go into election when he came back. He just didn't go
Yeah,
into
but
election.
we did something. He did not stay on the stage for long. You have to go out and come back. He did it first school. He gave it back to people. The people filled him. He went
did
back.
the
He
second
came back,
school.
took over the second one. Then after that, he said, okay, the best way to do, I have to take out the military uniform and become a civilian. That's why I just suggested to you, the young man leave the military for a political party with a brilliant idea, bring it, let people accept it. He said, because if you're military,
the
you
reason
run
why
by
I'm saying
decree.
that,
You don't have any
Jerry
constitution.
Rowland set the pace for Ghana, and he went back to the Barry, and he
I
turned
just
to a
suggested
civilian.
that to you.
So
I just said that.
what if it happened in Burkina Faso? Then what is if Jerry Rowland did it? Somebody saw it. Then what's the issue here?
Granted, we are just saying here, Jerry Rowland did the same thing. The young man could go back. He has to rise the cities of Burkina Faso to contest the election. He can come back instead of being a military man in the military uniform. He can leave. He can go out of the military and become a former political party and bring the brilliant ideas. They will elect him. That's what I just said. Instead of being a military and be there forever.
So I
You get the
agree.
point.
Now let listen to some of the things that they have been doing. I'm not saying it's true, but because they comparing him with the other guy who came through the ballot box in Senegal, and this young man, they're making a comparison in the video I'm going to play for our audience to listen to it. Why is it that you're making comparison with somebody who came with gun and somebody who came through the democratic process? So that's something good for West Africa. Maybe in my mind, I may be wrong, but the level at which they are going, it could be something good that even tomorrow, when my son decides to run for presidency, he could take cue from the young man in Senegal. This is the point I'm making. So,
Thank you.
all right. So let me see if I can play this thing for our audience. I hope it can. Okay. Let me see if I.
Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso and newly elected Bassirou Diomaye Faye of Senegal are dynamic Pan-Africanist leaders who have similar visions for their countries in Africa. In this video, we are going to look at how Ibrahim Traoré and Bassirou Diomaye Faye are planning to work together for the good and sovereignty of their people. Before we continue, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the New Tourist channel to get all updates on Bassirou Diomaye Faye and Ibrahim Traoré. Also, let us know in the comments that you want Senegal's new president to work closely with Ibrahim Traoré. In recent years, former French colonies, especially in Western Africa, have been rising against French oppression, exploitation, and parasitic policies. These uprisings resulted from coups spearheaded by revolutionary leaders who have the interests of their people. We have seen Ibrahim Traoré from Burkina Faso, Assimi Goïta from Mali, Mamadi Doumbouya from Guinea, and Abdelrahmane Tchiani from Niger. The most recent actor is Senegal's newly democratically elected 44-year-old Pan-Africanist president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, who was sworn into office early last week. Faye's rise to the presidency was a rough one. He went from tax inspector to political prisoner, then to the Senegalese presidency, where he has taken a sovereign stance and chosen to put the people of Senegal first. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, head of Burkina Faso, sent his congratulations to Mr. Bassirou Diomaye Faye, hailing him as the symbol of a new era for an uninhibited, free, and sovereign Africa. This statement comes after the swearing-in of Bassirou Diomaye Faye as the 5th president of the Republic of Senegal, an event which marked the start of a new era for the country. In his remarks, Captain Ibrahim Traoré expresses his admiration for the newly inaugurated president, considering him as a catalyst for change for an entire continent. By calling it a symbol of an uninhibited, free, and sovereign Africa, Traoré highlights the importance of strong and visionary leadership for the emancipation and progress of Africa. Furthermore, by declaring his willingness to cooperate with Bassirou Diomaye Faye for the renovation of sub-regional and international cooperation, the head of the Burkinabe military regime displays his commitment to constructive collaboration between African nations, essential to advance common interests and address regional and global challenges. This declaration highlights the importance of inter-African relations and regional cooperation in promoting peace, stability, and development on the continent. It also highlights the crucial role that Africa's new leaders can play in transforming their countries and the region as a whole. Ibrahim Traore's words reflect the hope and optimism for a better future for Africa, embodied by the presidency of Bassirou Diomaye. They demonstrate the desire for cooperation and partnership between African nations to address common challenges and realize the full potential of the continent. Acclaimed as Senegal's Messiah, Faye has promised to lead Senegal to sovereignty and liberate the country from Western oppression and exploitation. Many West Africans have been looking at collaborations between Faye and other revolutionary leaders like Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso, Assimi Goïta of Mali, and Abdel-Rahman Chani of Niger. All these leaders have the same vision. We have a video on our channel that shows that there's a possibility that Senegal could form a confederation with Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso. One of Faye's promises was to purge the colonial currency used in West Africa, the CFA franc. This plan falls in line with the plans that Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali had in February when they mentioned that they are making plans to ditch the colonial CFA franc currency. Footage purporting to show President Faye has been widely shared across social media, with captions claiming he has told France to leave us alone. In the video, a man speaking in English says,
"It is high time for France to lift its knee off our neck and put an end to this unjust oppression. Centuries of misery, human trafficking, colonization, and neocolonization have caused immeasurable suffering. It's time to put an end to this cycle of oppression. It's high time for France to leave us alone."
We have seen videos in the past where Ibrahim Traore has uttered similar words since taking power. One of his speeches that stands out is his submission during the Russia-Africa Summit in St. Petersburg last year. Now, let us look at one peculiar area where these two leaders could have much to work on: the colonial currency, the CFA franc. At no point in history has the CFA franc, the colonial currency used in West and Central African countries belonging to the franc zone, been closer to its demise. Senegal, under outgoing President Macky Sall, was a pillar of the long-standing French attempt to remain influential among its former colonies named Francophone. Now newly elected Faye, under the moniker of Left Pan-Africanism, has vowed to make this country more sovereign in food, energy, and finance. Never before have four West African governments, including one of the regional leaders, Senegal, been simultaneously eager and ready to get out of the neo-colonial stranglehold of the CFA franc. Historically, serious attempts at leaving the CFA franc since its inception in 1948 have been sabotaged by France. For example, Guinea was flooded by counterfeit banknotes when it left the CFA franc in the 1960s. Mali was put under pressure to rejoin the CFA franc after its departure in 1967. It returned into the fold in 1984. In 2011, Ivorian President Laurent Gbagbo, who had been considering pulling out the CFA franc, was made to step down after controversial elections with the help of a military intervention force. He was then sent to the International Criminal Court before being acquitted 10 years later. France went further in 2011, a case countries wanting to make the next attempt at leaving the CFA franc should be cognizant of. It used its seat on the Central Bank of West African states' decision-making bodies to block Ivory Coast from being refinanced by the bank. Leaving the CFA franc has thus historically come with a high risk of French sabotage. But the constellation of forces has shifted, and West African governments can better prepare this time. If they join forces and Ivory Coast vote for a less France-dependent president in the presidential elections in 2025, like Senegal has done, then the end of the West African CFA franc may indeed be near. Now, let us go back to President Bassirou Diomaye Faye. Before we do, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the New Tourist channel, and share the video with all your family and friends. President Faye's election program had a roadmap towards leaving the CFA franc and setting up a national currency. Among the key steps are creating a national central bank, refinancing of state expenditure at 0%, demonetizing gold and preventing its import and export to build up a gold reserve, repatriating gold reserves still stored in Paris and all over the world, profiling public debt and canceling private debt through monetary fiat, installing a deposit insurance scheme for small savers, building a national stock exchange. Leaders of Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali have similar plans too. The rise of Faye could make this plan come to life. Mr. Faye has vowed to renegotiate all contracts that his country has with foreign entities. For example, the Sangomar oil project off the coast of Senegal that is 82% owned by Australian company Woodside Energy, while Senegal only has 18%, would most probably be renegotiated under Faye's regime. We do not need to remind you of the similar steps that Ibrahim Traoré and Abdel Rahman Chani have taken against foreign corporations since taking power in their countries. Niger stopped the sale of gold to French companies that were exploiting it, while Burkina Faso stopped the sale of gold at ridiculously low prices. A common currency in these West Africa countries could support this shift in focus towards the well-being of the West African people. This is because its logic would be to reorient the governments towards the domestic economy and its people. Imports and easy repatriation of earnings by foreign corporations, which are some of the main effects of the often overvalued CFA franc, would become more difficult. Overall, Senegal and the Sahel governments are in a stronger position globally than ever before. The African continent is seen as essential to ensure the energy transition in Europe, as well as its diversification of oil and gas supply. And Western military, diplomatic, and trade hegemony on the continent is being challenged by China and Russia, as well as Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Qatar, and Turkey. If Senegal and the Sahel governments position the end of the CFA franc well in their overall negotiations with their international partners, as well as their domestic capitalist class and opposing political forces, its end may indeed be near. That will not be the end of the long road towards food, energy, and overall economic sovereignty to the benefit of the people. But it will be an important symbolic and material victory against post-colonial interference and meddling. The colonial CFA franc has outlived its usefulness for today's left Pan-Africanism. Organizing the end of neo-colonialism is a sizable challenge, but for the first time in decades, is one that can be confronted head-on. Indeed, Africans have had enough. Should Ibrahim Traoré and Bassirou Diomaye Faye work close together? Let us know what you think in the comments. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the New Tourist channel for more updates on Africa.
Yeah, Paul.
Yes, Jamal. What do you think?
Yeah, I've heard it. This is nothing new for me, Paul. I just
Right.
think like, because coups never solve African challenges. I mean, you can tell me, probably I may be wrong. Tell me here, where in Africa, where coups have solved our problems. I do agree there's also the level of corruption, misgovernance in Africa. But the issue here is, I think Senegal is an example we should take. Not encouraging those guys to stay in power for ages, where they rule by decrees and do what they like, because the constitutions will be suspended. So I think we need to encourage our citizens to encourage the democratization of our continent and give chance people who are happy in Senegal to appear in other parts of West Africa, instead of giving them a blanket of to stay there for 20 years when they don't have even the capacity to do that. So that's my take on this, Paul. All the analysis they're giving or comparison they're giving here, you can only learn from Senegal. But this guy in Burkina Faso, he was reneging on the date to sit for return to civilian rule, until the civilian was pulled in, saying like, look, we gave you some time, stay in power for some years. Happening in Chad, I think Guinea is the only country so far that gave a date of return to civilian rule. They gave years. You know what happened in 5 to 10 years when they're in power? There's nothing changed. Show me what positive change are happening. Coups are happening in Africa. Understanding all the fact that democratic leadership also failed us. I don't understand that. I mean, that's corruption, misgovernance, the causing problem. That's the instability causing Africa. But now we're sending two wrongs cannot make one right. Military cannot be there to run something. We should learn from Senegal. We should learn from other African countries in the East. They are doing very well.
Okay.
So that's my take on this.
I agree with you, but another thing, and I want Linford to chime in this one here, just from looking at the comparison with a military guy and a civilian in this video, two young people that have similar vision, although one came by gun and the other one came by the proper channel. But also, democracy in Africa. Do we really understand democracy? Therefore, I want you to give your comparison analysis with it, well, what you just watched and what Jamal just said about the military. Put all into one basket.
Let me tell you one thing. I don't know whether you have heard this word before. Every bad soul needs bad medicine.
Yeah.
So if leaders in Africa do not respect democracy, they do not respect the rule of law, they do not abolish corruption, and they continue to do the same thing over and over, and the majority of the people suffer, while the privileged few that are elected to public offices continue to get rich. I think, for me, the best thing to do is the military steps in. But then, the problem with the military too is that when they come in, after they are doing a good job, quote unquote good job, then they begin to repeat the same thing. So then we get confused. Whom are we going to bring here? What can we do here? Because it's like no hope. It's just like Liberia. Somebody can say, oh, you know, the people that are there, they're not doing well. You elect me. You elect the man will be worse than the people that were there before. So the question is, what do we do? Are we going to go to a different planet and bring some living thing to come and rule us? Because we've tried for Liberia. I will always make reference to Liberia, right? Because that's my home. That's where we are seeing the things happening. We've tried everything possible. We tried one party rule. Another two party, it was worse. Then we say, okay, they were not working. They grabbed them, they killed all of them. I will not say we, because we were not there, we didn't kill them. They pulled came to power, they grabbed them and killed all of them. Then they got there. Then they started doing the worst thing. They even ended up in war because they didn't want to move peacefully. Then we said, okay, we're not for war. We have killed enough of our own people. So let's go back to democracy. We went back to democracy. The very first democratic government that we elected, they became corrupt. The same reason why they killed the other people, they repeated it. Then we say, okay, the people that we will move them, we'll move them. Then we brought somebody that was supposed to be the son of the soil. And then they even overstepped. Then we say, oh, you know what I mean? No move them, they not get experience. Let's bring the people who get experience from way back. And what about experience? We talk about corruption experience. We brought them back. In less than 4 months, we are experiencing some of the worst things in government. So you see, it becomes a catch-22 situation. Should the military come in to clear the dirt? Like in Akara Moses' voice, he always say, what you can say, we clear the damage or something. He always say, we clear the mess, we clean the mess. So should the military be the one to come and clean the mess? But then when the military comes to clean the mess, they turn around and say that again. That's why I said I disagree with the idea of the people of Burkina Faso saying that this guy should stay there for even 20 years. No, he's done the job. If they are satisfied, let him put into place the proper mechanism that will bring in a good government, and then he can step aside. If he wants to run, let him remove the uniform. Some the people want him. If he removes the uniform, Chancellor brought war. Okay, say he want to be president, he disarmed. Then he ran and he won. So it can happen. If the people like him, he let him. But for the people to say, let the military man stay there for 20 years, me, I disagree with that. Even though he's doing the right thing now, But who knows? The man's a military man. That man said that he armed himself, he became tough. Who were moving? The scenes available begin to cry, and they cannot move a military man. Because if it is truly a democratic process where he's going to vote, they can vote against him. But if he's a military man, he get all the power, he cannot move in 20 years. Then they say, oh, the man are dictator. And so we Africans will create our own dictators. We create our own dictators.
I agree with you, Linford. I think when you see people, sometimes when people are excited, they can get tough because they actually they can't. Yeah, I'm being honest. But the council will meet because what happened July 1st, this coming July 1st, is when it's supposed to turn all the transitional thing to the people. Now the people getting so excited, say, no, you're doing too good. So it just, but the council going to meet and decide if they will stay. But it's just the people now that have taken onto the street say, no, we enjoying this short period of time you've been in government, we enjoying this thing. So
something I forgot to interject. The part where they're making a comparison between the one that came through the barrels of the gun and the one that came through the democratic process. Now, I will say this. It's unfortunate that Traore was a military man and he took over. And I guess that was the best time or the best thing he could do to come in as a military man. And then on the other side, Faye, his name is actually Faye, but the women will say Faye. Faye came from jail to the presidency, right?
Yeah.
But the two of them share similar view. And remove the uniform from Traore. He will be ordinary man. He will be ordinary person. And his vision that he has for the country and that of Faye are almost similar. So I think regardless of where they came from, their backgrounds, one being military man and the other one being a politician, or unconventional politician, but he came to the presidency, I think if they share that vision, and if other African leaders, West Africa, let's limit this discussion to West Africa for now. If they buy that vision, I think we can get somewhere. Because the thing is, no, listen, if anybody will ask me, do you want the old hands in the business or the people who have been government for years? We get recycling them as if to say there's no other new people who can become president or anything, but the same old people who cry for them, then will recycle them. So if anybody will ask me if I have my own will, and somebody ask me, you think we should have people in government? I would say absolutely no. It's better you go and stand on Broad Street. You see one Joe Blow walking, you say, my man, you know how to read, right? Yeah, can't be minister, can't be president, yes, then at least we'll start with something new. But the same people who got experience in corruption, then you bring in the same people over and over. It doesn't change anything. Yeah. And like I said, look, the world is progressing. We're in the AI age where things are just changing. So you can have one 1920 man becoming your president. The person will not have contact. The young boy. Look at the president of Ukraine. He was an actor, young boy. Okay. Look at the president of Canada, Justin. He's a young boy. Look at there was another lady who is president of one other country.
Look at France. France president, a young person.
Look at England right there.
Yeah.
You see, so those people can they can move faster. But you go bring that graphic. Look at it, man. No, wait, I'll put it in back on the screen. I'll put it in back on the screen for 1 second. Tell 1 second, Chiba. Okay. Look here. Look at our grandfather, or supposed to be grandfather, and his grandson, Seni. You see, no, tell me, the labor will be afraid of him because they don't think the same way. The labor will be afraid of him. They don't think the same way. Can you imagine? So, I mean, I think we should.
Another one sitting down in Cameroon, they call Paul Biya, who waiting to die in office.
And when Paul, and trust me, when Paul Biya came, the Cameroonians say, oh yeah, this is the main one, so let him be there. And he's there for long and people complaining. Okay? So, Africans will create our own problem.
Yeah,
Democracy say you let a man for certain period of time, according to your constitution. When that time reaches, you'll go back to the parliament. But you look at somebody, they men are human being like you. They man, he can decide to say, I'll do this. You cannot change his mind. He say, okay, you be there. And when a man is sitting there, this, you don't run kingdom. You run a democracy where in your constitution, there is stipulated time for your leadership to be in power. And then when that time reaches, you are voting him back in or carrying off him. But you say, no, let the man be there. You know, we create our own monsters, and at the end of the day, we begin to run away from the monster we created.
So Jamal, I mean, I like your analysis on let people go back to the barrack and then let democracy take place. With our country, Liberia, you don't think that our young people behind us could take you from the young men in Senegal to now take the mantra to the people that we can do similar thing in Liberia instead of going behind old people?
Paul, we did that. I think if we follow history, George Weah was a typical example, but he failed us. That was a misgovernance. George Weah was a typical example. He was the most popular, the most liked, the most famous president we ever elected.
Hold on. George Weah, hold on. You conclude. But young men with no vision. I mean, blunt here. But that's another man in Senegal.
No. We didn't know that. You didn't know George Weah did not have a vision.
Paul,
that's not right. That's not right.
Now, be honest.
We elected George Weah on the ground that he's come from the slums. He feel our pains. He know what our situation were. He knew when how much a cost of how do you call it, bitter ball, they call it Gary could cost in the market. He know to play on the way naked feet in the backyard. He knew when a mom cannot afford food, goes out there to shop to sell to feed her children. He knows those situations. That's what Liberia wants.
He knew how to sleep with hunger.
He know how to sleep with hunger overnight with empty belly. George Weah was a typical example for us to lead. This is why we talk. So giving back to Liberia, we've given the chance. I don't blame Liberians going back to old man to give it to him because the young men failed us big time. So we have our test of time. Liberians gave it to George Weah full 150% to lead this country to change like what they did in Senegal. So the issue is not we're going to go back. Then we are confused. Who do we give it to? Then what the Liberians told us, let's give it to the experience. Then Liberians say, I come in now, Paul, I come in. You want to say so, you want to put something about more which I don't want to take. I want to tell you exactly what I think. I'll tell you right now. Then they say to you, this election I passed. Look, since we give it to George Weah, he didn't do what we want. We'll give it to the man who was there for 40 years, very old, who doesn't care for money anymore. He's almost a retirement age. I think he got some second thought. He been in government. He can help us. You'll be surrounded with young and brilliant Liberians to help us. So this is the situation we are facing now, which we're looking up to. So the situation of Faye is an example. I want to go back to the military, the re-emergence of military into West Africa. There are reasons why these coups are taking place in Francophone Africa because of the insurgents, the jihadists, because the French failed to help them to put the situation under control. Then they are angry. The citizens are angry. They came on the street. They've been demonstrating for months over months. So they listen. So America saw the need to come over and take over. Now, thank you very much. What do we do? Do the same thing. Go back. If you think you're qualified, you got a vision, go back and leave the military. Put a political party. All the brilliant ideas you just highlighted, Paul. This guy can leave the military and become a brilliant leader. This is what we want. But how do you go beyond military coups in Africa? They have not solved our problems. Military coups have not solved our problems. I do understand. I want to admit here that we have misgovernance, we have corruption in Africa. But however, there will be changes. If you got civilian rule, there's a change. You cannot challenge the military rules. They come with decrees. They don't have constitution. So you should look at these things. While you're happy and excited that this guy should be government for 20 years, what are you going to do that? You're not fast.
My question was,
yeah.
Should the young people in Liberia take cue from the young men in Senegal? That's the question.
We've done it before. That's why I just outlined to you. We've done it before.
But then the guy we done it with, he had no vision. He had no clear path.
Paul, it's not about young. Paul, it's not about young person. It's somebody who is leader. It's not about age. It's about leader. That's what we're
That's-
talking about. It's not about age.
I'm
It's
not.
about leader.
We aging now. We aging now. So I'm saying, with the young people behind us, take cue from this guy in Senegal, a young visionary, not the one we have in Liberia.
Are you listening to Jima? It's not about
I-
age. It's about a good
I
leader.
know. That's why I
You
use
can
the
bring
word
all
vision.
the 12 you can bring all the 12 and 16 year
I
old people.
use the word vision.
Paul,
Yes.
an older person can be visionary. Forget about the you're talking
I
about.
agree. All people can be visionary, but in history, I've shown us in West Africa, the older they become,
I will
I
tell
can
you,
get one-
Paul.
I
I
can
think
get one in
So,
West Africa.
Paul,
That, listen,
I think on this platform, Linford is very well informed about the Southeast Asia. He will tell us that if you look at the politics there, more people in their late 80s, 70s are in politics, right? They were in there. I think it's not Malaysia or something like that. The guy who was in the 90s, almost 80s, he gave him a chance. He was re-elected to come and reshape things before he retired. It happened. So, and he gave him a chance to come back. That was not about age. It's about being a leader. So I want you to get away with this word, a young age visionary. It's have to be age, have to be a leader. You lead as a total package. This is why we've tried in Liberia, we were the first to try in West Africa, to give a young man, George, who at that time of age, and a man who from the water, a man who
No,
from the
you're
slope.
not the first man because Samuel though.
No, but that came to military coup. I'm talking about the democratic
So
election.
he was another young man too.
No,
so
no, no.
that's-
I'm talking about, we talk about a fair in Senegal, democratic election. George Weah we gave him the gavel as a democratic leader. That's what I'm saying here.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about, I'm
He
not
didn't
talking
have
military
vision,
here.
I said. He didn't have
So
vision.
that we need to get straight with things here. Fact is, we were the first West Africa to take the lead. We gave George Weah the chance to lead us out of this trouble we're in, the nonsense we're in. No, he did not succeed. So the Liberians thought, well, let's go to the old man who can lead us out of something. Visionary fails. So I don't want you to come and tell you, can we take a cue from Senegal? Senegal should have taken cue from us because we failed.
Aha, we failed. So Linford, that goes to you. Should we take cue from Senegal from what is happening?
Well, I think Senegal is taking cue from us because we even had the first female president in the whole of Africa. Okay, so we always set the pace. But the thing is, what we've been doing is it working for us? I think
Thank
that's the
you,
main point.
that's-
That's the main point Jemai have this.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
Let me tell you, today you ask me, should the military take over in Liberia? I'll say, yeah, let the military take over. But then the question is, will they do good thing?
Yeah.
Will they change anything
No.
for which they change the government? No, because we've tried it didn't work. And then we went back to the democratic process and it's still not working. So it has to do with our mindset.
Exactly.
The people we're dealing with. We as a people, that's what I said. I don't think we should bring in the conventional politicians anymore. Go stay on Broad Street, time for election. Just see one little ball pushing with say, my man, come. You get family, you get wife, you get children, okay, can't go sit in the mansion. No, because we've tried everything on the board. Tell me, we try one party rule. Which are the true party? Well, we're holding, but again, people say, oh, in that group, democracy calls for multi-party participation, so we change them. Then we brought military, yes. Everybody thought, yes. The old corrupt people, kill all of them. Corruption wiped out. Then the same people who kill people for corruption, they even begin. So what we'll try again. Then we brought the bigger one called war.
We brought woman.
Then after the war, we say, okay, they want to not bring woman because woman power, maybe woman not.
They can see.
They wanted responsibility for corruption. Then we brought a young boy, the most popular man who say they want to the Jima was saying they made a one of all. They made, you know what? You know how to mix Faria with Grumpy. Sometimes you know how to put Ray on it and keep it.
They knew how to play Blair and all. So we
Yeah.
do all that one. Yeah.
The man know how to play Lou. Then the man turned around, he did it once. So we said, okay, this one don't go back to the old man who, you know, no. So Liberia, I think our problem is not who should get there because we have tried all the age groups, we have tried all the gender, we have tried men, we have tried women. So what we're doing, so I think we should change our mindset, and like I said previously, the way the trend that West Africa is taking is what we should follow. So it doesn't matter whether that old man or that young man, but
Right.
you who will be a patriot,
Yeah.
and you who will not bow down to these colonial masters. Because no, let me tell you, the colonial masters do not like you. These people, they follow their interest. Where they can get plenty things to benefit them is where they will support. And then at the detriment of your people. So if you will stand before them and say, no, listen, they came here, you've been playing for long with us. Now we are the players. We will set the rules, we will be the referee, and you will only play the game with us. You like it or not, go. Now that single, I want to comment on this thing actually. The single currency you're talking about for West Africa, this is not a new idea. Gaddafi tried that thing. He wanted a single currency for the whole of Africa, the gold currency, that if you want to buy anything, even pepper from us to carry to your country, you should pay in our gold currency. And this is where the downfall of Gaddafi then came from. So these boys, I know they have good vision. I'm talking about the young leaders. They have good vision. But again, it's a risk that they're taking because the citizens of the country, it's very simple for the West to raise an army against a good leader in Africa. I can go back and back in time and name people. They late Patrice Lumumba. When we were in Belgium just last weekend, by this time we were in Belgium, okay? Then one thing that kept coming to me is that Patrice Lumumba went to school in Belgium. Where in Belgium was he living? I kept thinking about this thing, you know? So these people will not want your leaders to stay up to them. They want us to bow down, and this is how the old corrupt people can succeed in Africa, because they will bow down to them. But the idea that these boys are bringing, that these young people are bringing, well, we hope they will succeed. They are not the first Kwame Nkrumah. All the people try it, but again, where did they end up? Because they will raise an army against you. But we got to say no, we the citizens, because for the people in Burkina Faso, for anybody to come and say, no, listen, go against Traoré because he's standing against France, you'll say, hell no, we will stand with our own. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, and another in addition to that, Paul, sorry. What I want to add to what he was.
Jamal.
Mhm.
So you and Linford said we need I said take you from Senegal, you said we've been there before. So going forward, as we look for visionary for Liberia and the mindset where Linford talked about, how do we change the mindset of our people to see something good? You can tie into what you're going to say.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much. Paul, let's give credit to Liberians. We know what we want and we'll go for what we want. My colleague Linford just said it. He highlighted it that what we give him the chance to, we give chance to the ladies, to people that could change the dynamics for us, but it did not work for us. I'll take you back to not only Liberians or the population. We also look at the regional blocks. Look at the African Union, West African. These guys are very silent over what is happening. The floor elections, extensions or turns of presidency in Africa. They're not talking about it. The stabilities in Francophone Africa, they're not talking about it. What happened in Guinea when the Guinea overthrew came in? They got to extend the term to 3 terms. What's happening in Ivory Coast? Nobody's talking about it. So what did help? Before you talk about the citizens themselves, the regional bloc needs to put a concerted effort to effect those changes. It's not happening. So they need to help the citizens, to support the citizenry to get the changes to happen, to get on the street. What you see happening in Europe in general, people get on the street to demonstrate, to vent their anger to the government. They don't expect military to come in. We got more powerful military in the West. Why they're not able to take over power? Despite all those corruptions, things that happen all around the world. But when they happen in Africa, can the military solve our problem? We can't go beyond military coups. We're all happy because we don't know. We are just tired. If a man's frustrated, a dying man can grab any a man who is drying can grab any sharp object to survive. This is why we hail the military. They re-emerge into our political scene. We shouldn't be happening because misgovernance and corruptions are the highest in West Africa. So what I'm saying, I want to repeat this. We need the effort of the international community, the regional blocs, to support these causes, to make sure those guys have no floor elections, extend the election. You saw what happened in Gabon. right? It was after he flawed, he rigged the election. They have to come and take him over. You were asking for help to get him out of there, to get him back to sea. What is happening in Burkina Faso, in Mali, in Niger? It was not a failed government. It was the military, the Islamic insurgents in the region. See instability in the region. France government troop that was supposed to have, they were playing lip service politics to the game. People are dying. So they thought the government was weak. The government was the lapdogs to France. So they want to come in and change the situation. And that's not the same thing in West Africa, in part of our West Africa, Liberia. Totally different ballgame. Failed leadership. That is all what we have in West Africa. So it's my brother said, my colleague on the floor said, failed leadership. You keep saying young visionary. We want concerted effort. We want a system that can change. Look at Namibia. Look at Malawi. Look at Tanzania. Look at Kenya. Those are no military. They are the functioning government. They're doing well. Go to Ethiopia. These are functioning government. That's what military is going on. What's happening in West Africa? So you need to analyze this thing. So you don't use Senegal. Senegal is a new thing, not new thing. We set the pace in Africa, Liberia. We did it. So the argument here is we need to come out of our shell and understand what's happening to us. You cannot do it without the West. Trust me, you cannot do it with the international community. You can condemn them all with the guy go on the video going around condemning all the West. You cannot condemn them. My colleague said right now that they can come after you when they don't like you, and they get you out from there. The most powerful man in Africa at the time, Gaddafi, they got him out. What they can do to you when they're ready for those guys, getting out is just a matter of time. I'll tell you something. There's a video circulating recently about a guy with the street guys interviewing people about development, and to compare. He came around an Arab guy asking them about. The guy was telling about Nigeria and I think United Arab Emirates. Dubai, right? You heard the video. That's a very popular video. The guy said Nigeria is how many 2 or 3 times richer and better than our country. But it's not about the richness. It's that it's hair, the leader. That is what tell us. It's the leader. It's not about age. It's about the leaders. So we don't management leadership. Leadership is a big word, but it has a lot of stuff in it, Paul. So if you got leaders, things change. Dubai is less than 50 years old. Look at what's happening. Everybody's moving to Dubai. Nigeria has been there for how many years? Some more years.
You know,
what I'm trying to say to you right now is
in the case of Liberia, we have tried everything, but the decision making of our people in Liberia, that was saying, what do you do to encourage talk about mindset?
Okay, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you exactly what I'll take. What we still need to do is about orientation. Get out there with engagement. Get our people to understand this is not about fighting. In schools, we brought back service in schools, able to teach them. Not only apart from that, we need to set up a system that people cannot live in the pocket of others. A social system that those who can afford can able to get government support. A system where people can get jobs. So there where you can able to make decisions. If I live in your pocket, Paul is a deputy minister. I live in Paul house. If Paul if he's doing wrong, I'll support Paul because Paul feeds me. That system need to be a system in place. A social system need to be in place that those who cannot afford can able to live on the government support. A system that can be those who cannot get a job, government can find a job for them in a way that they can create job. People should not depend on the government. Companies, small businesses, a lot of things should be, private sector should be improved. So people can make decisions. They're able to make decisions. They can stand and tell the government, this is wrong. This is what happened in the West. You must say, you don't care about government job here. What you want the system. If you're wrong, you stand there and say what you want to say because you don't know what a government job is. You got a daily bread, you work for yourself. But in Liberia, to be specific, we all hang out our uncles, our aunties, our brother, our cousin that work in government to take our money. Even the brother is doing wrong, we say he's right. This is what happened to CDC government. So this is it. Yeah. We need the orientation, the civil education. System.
Let me just come in a little bit. You know, as Jima was just about to take it, you were taking it from Amo. Let me tell you.
Okay, go on.
The dependency syndrome. It runs down from the family all the way to the government. And if you ask me how, I will explain. All of us here in the West, the rest of our family in Africa, they depend on us. They get money, but they will still call you because they depend on you. They feel that you get it. They will not want to work hard. Then our government does the same. They depend on the colonial master. Look at Liberia, every small thing, international community. The international community got our own big problem, but still we depend on it. Now, I thought about something while Jima was talking, when the coups took place, I say coups because it was Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso, and yeah. What did the other West African countries say?
Nothing.
And they said they were going to go defuse. You see? And you know why they were thinking that way? It's the same mindset. The old people, the colonial people, they're afraid that, the young Boston is for the relationship between we and France and all our colonizers. So let's prove to our colonizers, I'm talking about the old leaders now, let's prove to our colonizers that we stay with them. So we are the very, no, listen. Sometimes I get tempted to say something, but I don't want to say. The very old Tinubu here was standing with a young boy. Tinubu was the man championing the cause to say that they will go to, was it Mali or Burkina, or Niger?
Niger.
Yeah, to go to carry ECOMOG, someone that forced there. Can you imagine? Instead of them saying, no, listen, these boys are bringing in transformation. Let's back them. They say they want to go diffuse the coup and restore the most corrupt man back again on the people. Simply because they want to please the colonial masters. And it's clear that if you go against the colonial masters, they will come after you. And because we have been creating that scenario that, okay, we can't do without them. And so when we do that, they will come for. No, listen. If you say you are independent, Paul Biko said it. There is no easy walk to freedom. You gotta stand. If you are attacked by a group of men, you will not say because a group of men attack you, you will fight until you die. You gotta stand. But again, African leaders, we don't do that. We create a scenario where our colonial masters will continue to control us and control the narrative. Then we go sit in the corner and start to cry. But like I said before,
especially when we are very corrupt and we get our people to suffer.
But
and
like
then
I
we
said,
take the money.
The mindset is one thing. We got to change our mindset. We got to make sure that the mindset, we got to start the orientation. Tell the people, tell the young generation, no, listen, this is not in the past. We are in the present and we're moving to the future. Those of us who saw.
Let me hold you there. In Liberia, the oligarchs, they don't want to, like what Jima said, to teach the people. They're not waiting to do it. They want
do they know better? That's the question. Do they know better?
Well, it's not like they're not willing to do it. We just said that, I believe I just qualified it like dependency syndrome. Yes. Even they know they're right, how would they listen to you when you don't feed them, you don't give them food to eat? A man whose belly is full is telling him, look, a guy does not depend on you. He will tell you right, he will tell you, look, go to hell. I will listen to what I'm telling you. But if he depends on you, go to your house. Everybody depends on one man in Africa. They're feeding them. Everything is on. He doesn't have his own life. No. So what we are saying here, I said two things here, Paul. Orientation together with structure that will support a system that you don't have to depend on each other. That's a social system. Work, invest into private sector, provide jobs to those who can afford. There are some disabled there, they can't even afford themselves.
Now you bring me back to the point I'm making.
I said it earlier.
I'm going to put this back. In Liberia, we have tried everything. We have not found that person that will talk about, that will bring all of these things you're talking about. The other guys we have in Liberia, we want the people to remain the way they are. And that's why when I use the word, say, our people take cue from these young people in Senegal, the new leader in Senegal, and say, no, they took cue from all, but the guy in Senegal have come up with a vision that people can steal from, say, wait a minute, this is happening next door. They follow our footsteps, but look at what this guy is doing.
It's not easy like that, Paul. We just said something like, why is it that people are supporting, they are not coming out there and fight for their right, because they are depending on people. This is all we just said to you.
That's the only guy I'm talking about in Liberia. So in that case, we will go 100 years because of the dependency syndrome. So this is the point. And then when Linford talk about, say he don't want to say it, at some point, then in my mouth, say, but then here, let's take you from Burkina Faso and get somebody to come and set that pace. And that's the one you don't want.
But
what are we?
But Paul, can I tell you, you know, Senegal, yeah, I mean, we may think that Senegal is just doing something automatic. No. Senegal, they have had no problem. Imagine, do you know that Senegal was encircled by Gambia before? Or Gambia was encircled by Senegal, one of them were in the middle. I think it's Gambia now in the middle of Senegal before, and they all begin independent now. They've been having their own ups and downs. But again, I cannot give up on Liberia for now. Because the reason is that new things are happening. New people are coming. And this is why I am against one man ruling for a very long time, even if he's doing the best thing. Because new ideas are coming up. New people are coming with new ideas. And so, you know, Senegal, it happens to be that a very young, brilliant guy comes from nowhere politically, from Mr. No political, nobody. One Joe Blue from J. How he can't become president. And with all the good vision he laid down. So I think, again, I would tend to agree with you that Liberians should learn from that. Liberians should say, no, listen, we've done all these things. We keep going back and forth. We elect old people. We say they get experience, they can't determine shit. We elect young person. We say he want to all. He able. We bring the military. The military can kill us, and spoil everything, and bring war. So we should look at what Liberia have been setting the pace before. Maybe we've been doing it the wrong way. So we should look at the new trends unfolding so that we can, you know, life is all about learning. And probably this is my nature, you know, since I love learning new things. I'm not satisfied with what I know. So life is all or what I have done before. So life is all about learning. So let's follow, again, let me agree with Paul on that point. Let's follow what we see now. If this is what will work, that a young guy will come and set a pace, or one old man who is a visionary will come and set a pace. Because actually, what the three of us discussing here, nobody got a correct solution. We're all hoping, we are all just proposing things that will help the country. Yeah. It could be one old papa, 190-year-old man out of vision.
Yeah.
Bring back Otamatilo. Bring back or Scab, I mean, or Blozotue. Bring back who else? No old people.
I have exception to that statement. Big
Yeah,
time.
man.
You know what you're saying right now?
We have tried everything.
Yeah, Europe did not.
He had Tamatero as the interim leader before, right?
Guys, these guys laid the foundation to where we are today in Europe, in America, other places. They build the foundation. You just can't bring anybody who don't know the solution. No, of course the solution is there. We know what is it. We just don't want to accept the fact. We fail to accept that this is, if you lay that foundations, it will happen. These guys have struggled in Europe. They have struggles. They were having the same issue we had. But they sat down and said, you know what, this is not helping us. Let's lay the foundation from it. This is what they look at. If we lay the foundation in Africa, in West Africa specifically, it will come up. But you said, oh, we don't know the solution, we don't know what happened, that brings Tomatilla. No, you're thinking, you don't know which way you're thinking. Let's know that we have outlined the issues that
are following the same trend that we've been talking, that we have tried everything. So
no, you have not tried everything. We have you set a system where your citizen gets support?
But so Jamal, this is the point I was making. You see, the Senegal, their rule of law is strong. They get jobs, companies in Senegal. It's one of the most peaceful places. They never have coup in Senegal. They're one of the places that things are okay. So you can get all of the little jobs. In Liberia, that will get 6 million people in Liberia. And it depending on one job that the government can only employ 80,000 people. The rest of the country, everybody just going in cycle, depending on the 80,000 that in work. Rule of law, everything gone. So that bring me to my question, and then I know you don't like to hear it, but we need somebody that will come in and say, no, this thing is so ratty, we need to set this. This is how we need to set it.
I didn't say that. I said that's a leader. I didn't say I'm against that. We want a leader. I keep saying to you, not a young person, but a leader.
It could be like nothing that happened in what Joe Roden did or what is happening in
Okay,
the
so
system.
Then you want to glorify coup in this country, which are totally against.
No, I'm not glorified because we have tried.
I'm not support coups. I'm not one of those support coup. I want a democratic process.
No, I know you're not support. I said maybe. I'm not saying I support.
Okay, but Chima, if you can support coup, you can support coup.
The
We have
system
tried
rotten.
election. It's not working. We have tried war. It's not working.
Yeah.
And the simple say corrupt. So if the coup
We
would be
are,
a person,
we are in a learning process, my brother. Look, all these groups past the time you're talking, we had the consequences. But we're in a situation where we're learning right now. What happened, I can assure you, despite the difficulty we're going through right now, why can government not be as well bad as George Weah government? I don't care what you're going to look at it. They're going to be a little bit better than George Weah, despite their failures they are going through right now. Because they knew what the Liberians suffered. Liberians knew the decisive votes showed to George Weah that this is why we want to tell you that our votes count. We did not ask for coup. The vote is your power to tell you that so we want to change the government. We can do this. It was a matter of time. Probably may not happen in your generation, time when you're around, but there are going to be changes coming up. We need to learn from the process. You said we learn all. We got to learn. We got to let it happen. Don't going to let it happen. Now say orientation is necessary. Service education in our schools. Put a system together where the citizens cannot depend on their dependent students should be erased. Where you can invest into private. How do you call it? The private sector. We can bring young ones that can create jobs for the other universities.
That means you have to fight. I mean, I hate when people use the word eradicate corruption. Because corruption cannot be eradicated, but you can minimize it. So
yes, I agree.
the same people working in government, and this government is. When I mean this,
But what happened in Ghana? Ghana got you said they call them people living a medium lifestyle right now. When this guy Paul was trying to put an example when Jerry only came in.
Yeah, they get middle class.
Huh?
They got a middle class in Ghana, but no
middle class government right now. Why it happened? It was a system.
The point. Listen. The point I'm making.
Right.
With the kind of massive corruption that we have, and the thing that encourages and sustains the corruption in our system is that we keep bringing the same old people back. I mean, this is where I get problem. Then I get tempted to say, no, wipe out all these people, and then let's start from you, because we say,
it's frustrating. I feel your pain.
Yeah,
it's frustrating. This is
we have tried everything. Anything that can make human beings scary, we have tried.
Yeah. And the 80,000 people that employment that get the money, they control the narrative of the people because people depend on them for feeding. Whatever they tell them, that's what they do. So they know where to go.
Now.
So guys, I don't think we are doing the wrong thing. It's just that the system we have is wrong, but we've done it. We try everything that other countries try. Norway, that people live in peace today. The last time Norway saw war, that was World War II. And they didn't even take part in the war. It's just like the Germans came, they passed through here to go attack Russia. So the last time people saw war. So you see, but we for physical war, we always saw the war. We even the marks are still on the wall, on the horses. We go library, you see war map. Then what we can learn lesson. And so we have tried everything. The corruption, the pandemic that we have is a corruption where few people want to be the ones to benefit and the rest, and that's a recipe for chaos. When few people will be enjoying, then the rest of the people suffering. In Norway, you don't care for government official. I work in the government. Nobody cares for government official. Okay, because
why is that? You think?
Yeah, because you can make it.
They put a system in place, right?
Yes,
exactly.
That's just what we're talking about.
We do not care. We the people who work in government do not care for we the ordinary people. So then, in a system like that, the other day I was talking to one Norwegian guy, and the guy asked me, "Why African people build house?" Because he been to Africa, I said, "Why African people build house and they build half fence? Even the fence they build around the house can build another house." I said, "I'm from London. Imagine like, bro." I said, "Because the reason why they are afraid of thieves." And the reason they are afraid of thieves is that they have amassed all the riches unto themselves, and the thieves there want to eat. So the only way you can get it is to go and steal. But in Norway, You know what people use for fence? They plant flowers. You get too near, you're playing a small flower. So
My
because
man, I beg you, don't bring me back to our small child days. The rich people who had on a P Avenue, they didn't have, you could see the beauty of their houses.
yes,
Yeah, the fence would be just there here that you can even come and sit down on it and lecture,
yes,
but you could see the beauty. But the new group that we're talking about, what Jamal just said, they control the narrative, they steal, and then they pay people to do muya behind there, and our people going nowhere. So I'm really tempted to say something I can't say, but it just pains me that people
Americans
that
say, oh,
speak to us, and then here we are far, 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 far behind. Having said that, we hit the 2 hour mark, guys. I want your parting comment on this so we can close up.
well, for me, all I can say is that we have tried everything possible on the boat. It's not working. The good and the bad, we have tried all. It's not working. So we should change our mindset. And I don't want to go back to the famous quote by our Einstein that Mr. Comey have been saying during the century, I think if you try you go to bar close, you try one, it fit you. You go, you try another one, it fit you. You think you'll stay come by a pie? No, try a different one until you can find the one that fits you. So if learning from the new wave of political changes in West Africa will be the solution for us, where voters, 6 years not long, we go almost 1 year now, or 6 months in the first year. 6 years will soon be around the corner. Let's look at somebody who will bring that vision. And one of the areas where we fall short as voters is that we don't allow the people we're voting for to tell us what to do for us. We don't vote them because we like them or we know them. Whether they can deliver or not, we don't know. We don't even know that we are employing them. So civic education. Because anybody who employs somebody, if you buy your taxi, you will not just go call any trouble and say, can sit in the taxi whether you can drive or not. You look for the good driver who knows how to take care of car. After driving, you will wash your car and clean it. But when we ready to employ these people, we like them, so we employ them, or we know them, so we employ them, or because they are popular, we employ them. That's a mistake we make. So we need to try new things. We need to learn. We need to open our eyes and change our mindset from what we've been doing before. That's what I can say.
Jamal, what's your
I
thought?
want to say once again, thank you for coming back on the bottom line. And I want to say, well, Africa in general, what is happening in Africa, the instability, the insurgence is as a result of neocolonialism, we know that, and also misgovernance and corruption, which we can correct. And I don't support the re-emergence of military onto the scene and the African politics, more especially West Africa. I think we can learn from Senegal. If you are dissatisfied, if you are franchised, you can use that as elections to vote out those corrupt ones and bring a new change. And we'll hope and pray that the guy in Senegal will have God bestow his blessing on him. He got a vision to lead in Senegal to the right direction, so he will deliver. Back to Liberia. I mean, we've tried. I don't think we should give up. And Liberia is a hope, and we should pray that Liberia the government of Boakai will not be as worse as George Weah. I can assure you that. And it's just a matter of time. Challenges are ahead. I know the government is struggling to get on her feet right now. But we still need something. I want to reassure. We need a system a structure in Liberia where we can have a system where those disabled, the unfortunates, you have a system of support, need support. And we invest into the private sector, invest into the citizen. And if you see that their dependency syndrome will be minimized, then the citizens have the right to challenge the government on corruptions and other anti-social, behaviors. And once it is not happening, we'll still be speaking. We'll be like saying "muya" to people that we don't use "muya" to. So once they say, "Who feels the part dictates the tune," right? This is the common saying. So we need to understand that we all have a right, like we live here in Europe. We have a voice to say we don't like something, and they will listen to you. But once in Liberia, the government supports you, do everything for you. You have no reason, you dare not to speak against it. So we're calling on the government to put a place to understand the citizens have a right to speak. put in place a system where they can able to survive without depending on those in government. So we can have a clear and transparent leadership in Liberia, especially Africans in general. So that will be my take on this call.
Yeah, thanks, gentlemen. I think it was a fascinating discussion tonight, and our people need to take the civil education, and probably ourselves, we need to encourage people, because saying a dependency syndrome that is happening in Liberia. We need to encourage people in the diaspora. And what I just want to say here, we're in Belgium this gone weekend, and something Liberians in Europe discuss this. How do we move the country forward? And so I think it's a good thing that we start the discussion now, that people can take cue from that. In the next 6 years or 5 years, when they're going back to the battle bar, so they can know why they're going to catch the battle, not depending on somebody that stole from them and gave them the same steady money to say, oh, sing Moya Moya. I think if we start talking about it, pushing people forward, and then look at people with vision that can move Liberia into this 21st century, instead of all being behind country that we fought for, it liberated them from slavery. Now we become barrier to those countries, so it's just unfair on us in Liberia. So I think we still need to talk with sense and educate our people. So on that note, I'll say, gentlemen, it was a good show. It's good to have you all here again. We're back here on
Tuesday.
By His grace, maybe, I don't know, if you guys off on this weekend, we'll have the time, we can have something going. There are a lot of things happening in Liberia. We didn't talk about all the corruption that is going on with the $21 million that was given to public works minister. Nobody know where that money went, and the people talking about it, the legislature are now saying, oh, the guy made a mistake, they pardon him. I don't know how $21 million will just disappear and then he pardon somebody who that didn't commit crime or went to prison. So the situation in Liberia, I don't know if it will get better anytime soon, but we pray for our mama Liberia, we pray for our people to see sense. So Jamal, Linford, it was great having you all here, and I hope on Tuesday we'll have a full house. So to our audience that following, I will say thank you for being with us. For those that are on Jala TV, the bottom line, it's what's that YouTube, say thank you for being with us. We hope to see you again on Tuesday. On that note, how do we close up? We'll leave you on this, like what Jamal always say, the bottom line. Where is this thing I'm looking for? We say good night to everybody, and we'll see you on Tuesday. Have a fantastic weekend.
You're watching the review of Liberian newspapers' headlines that made news during the week on the Bottom Line Liberia. Please join us every Tuesday and Friday at 7 p.m. Liberian time, 8 p.m. UK time.